Hey, yo, what's up? It's your boy, Jody, the Cool Counsel.
Yo, what's up? It's Nyota, and
you know who it is.
This is the lyric breakdown.
The lyric breakdown for Worth It.
Worth It.
With Nyota and yours truly. Let's get into it.
We don't need to lie to each other. I've been known. I'm a vibe, just give me a reason. Just tell me why I'm feeling not worthy. So as you know, this song is about imposter syndrome. So this is the battle in our heads for those who feel like maybe you don't deserve something. You feel like I don't need to lie to myself whilst I'm looking in the mirror, whilst I'm battling with myself. I know I'm a vibe, but tell me why I'm feeling unworthy. You know what I mean? Whilst knowing that I am actually worth it. So that's like the internal battle happening there. Never conjured on purpose. I know you're dealing with thoughts you never deserved, and I know we've all dealt with intrusive thoughts, okay? So this is something that we never conjure on purpose. This is not something that we bring to the forefront of our minds on purpose. So the whole point of these introductory bars to my verse is to highlight the fact that none of this is something that we actually want to think about ourselves. So yeah, that's the whole point. It's never something that we feel we deserve. These are thoughts that things that we're dealing with that we don't deserve. You know what I mean? The pressure's building and now you're feeling uncertain. Where's your pride now that it's time to resurface? So this is me talking to that imposter syndrome. So you're first feeling the pressure building, you're feeling uncertain about yourself. Now the next bar is me talking to that feeling. Where's your pride now that it's time to resurface? Because if I'm questioning you, then there's no room for you to grow in my mind when I'm starting to feel like I'm, worth it. You gon' lie and keep on looking the other way. Something within you denying you're worth the time of day. Screw what the dollars say. Now I know as independent artists, as artists coming up, doing our thing everywhere, no matter what stage you are at, it always feels like the dollar sign that people attach to you is what your value is. So the main point of this is they're not telling the truth about your worth. Everyone outside is not telling the truth about what your worth is, because a dollar sign is trying to be attached to your craft. That is not necessarily something that needs to be monetarily pinpointed, more than impact that it has emotionally, spiritually, and to everyone that is around you, when that is where the real value is at. Outside, everywhere doesn't really value arts, the crafts, and poetry and hip-hop and everything, you know what I mean? Is this all made for me? Cause I made for it. Same God who put me together touched the stars, so I'll explore it. I then go on to question, like, yo, if I'm made for this music thing, for this thing that I'm passionate about, why wouldn't it be made for me? Why wouldn't all the fruits of my labor be made for me as well, especially through God? Like, same God who put me together, he touched the stars, you feel me? So I'll explore that. I'll explore the universe, the world. And also my name means star, so there's that link. Oh no, you earned it. They try to force it. You can tell the difference when you rain or when they pour it. This part just talks about how naturally whatever it is that you're passionate about comes, how naturally it comes to you, and how naturally I feel that my passion comes to me with music and relaying that message. You can tell the difference when someone is forcing it, like pouring it all the way out, you know what I mean? And when you naturally pour out of the skies. Yeah, all the basics, they stay ignored. When they took the sanctity out of artistry, I'll restore it. Yeah, this part is also quite self-explanatory, I would say, where I feel like this the foundation on which we stand as humanity, like from morals and ethics, as well as in music. When you think of something like music, where the message is usually the most prominent aspect of many forms of art. The message, the rebellion, the fighting back against a system, specifically within hip-hop, where I feel like the roots, the foundation is very, very much like not stood upon often when it comes to things that we face in the forefront of just like, yeah, music in general. You have to go kind of like digging for your favorite art. I love to just look for and find the message that I'm looking for, and also not necessarily looking for. As long as, you know, something that jumps out to me, something that I'm like, yo, this is sound, this is very spiritually, emotionally sound, and it challenges my thoughts, my opinions, something that really challenges the way that my mindset operates. That's where I'm like, yo, this is different. This is something that I'm like, yo, I can see the roots sticking out. That's how I know it goes all the way back. That's how I feel like just a lot of those basics are ignored, and that's what takes the sanctity out of art. That's what takes the sanctity out of what it is to be called an artist as well. What takes the sanctity out of being called a songwriter, a rapper, a singer, you know, all of these things. Someone who's you know, kind of like these labels that are now attached to everything, you know what I mean? So I just want to make sure some of these things are restored, at least where it matters. So yeah.
Knocking at the door, who is that? An imposter syndrome, bringing all this fear and this doubt to my kingdom. Haters not allowed, we against them. Peter Parker, top of web of lies, I can sense them. Hey, so as you can hear, the song is about imposter syndrome. The funny thing about it though is that Nyota Parker didn't make it obvious in her writing, so I had to really listen to what she's saying, because she's got a very specific and powerful pen, you know. So I had to really pay attention and listen to what she's saying on the song, and kind of like read in between the lines and say, oh, this is about imposter syndrome. So that's when I went straight for it in my verse. So that's why I opened the verse with knocking on the door, you know, who is that? An imposter syndrome, just to, you know. But it's like a wordplay thing, you know, imposter syndrome. But I say, who is that? It's an imposter. This thing is not supposed to be here. So I personify imposter syndrome, and I make it as if it's knocking on your mental door, you know, and it's trying to get in, you know, or mine or yours, however. But an imposter syndrome, bringing all this fear and this doubt to my kingdom, because to me, your mind is your kingdom, is where everything happens, is where you can create, you know, you have full power, you know. So that's how I, you know, also explain what the mind is in this verse. Haters not allowed, right? It's the same thing. Like I keep going with the imposter syndrome thing, because there's a lot of elements that also make that happen. For example, you know, you'd be on social media and there'll be haters or whatever, you know, especially when you do what I do. And sometimes they can mess with your mind so much that you doubt yourself. It's just a reminder to my own, you know, self mind that, nah, man, haters are not allowed, you know. We're against them. So we are against haters. The Peter Parker Web of Lies bar is more, it's wordplay as well, because I was thinking about how, you know, it's just lies that are messing with your brain, and that can cause you to have self-doubt and all those things. Peter Parker type of web of lies, I can sense them, you know. I can sense them. I'm a type of guy where I'm very sensitive. I don't do surface level things. Even when it's so simple, I don't think it's simple. I always think there's just layers to it. So that's just how I am personally. So over there, I'm speaking about myself. I can always sense certain things, you know, from people, you know, how they speak, how they carry themselves and stuff like that. I'm not saying I'm always right, but it's been helping me for 35 years now. It's straightforward like that for me. No doctors, I got the home remedy. No sponsors, self-prosperity, smoke screen, but so much clarity. I mean, for me, that's simple, you know. That's so straightforward too. It's like, it's relying on yourself type of thing, you know. It's more of, you should be able to also help yourself in some situations, you know. When I say no doctors, I don't say don't be going to no doctors. I'm just saying I'm so tapped in, bro, that I will always find natural ways to heal myself. And this is also speaking on the healing of, if you do have imposter syndrome, you know, how you can heal your mind from that, you know. Just naturally do it yourself, you know. Self-reliance type of bar, pretty much. No sponsors, self prosperity, straight up like that, you know. For artists that are indie, not signed, you know, for people that are doing it themselves, going out and getting it yourself. That's also that, you know. It means you must believe in yourself now. So that's still us fighting this, you know, imposter syndrome. A smokescreen, but so much clarity. Everybody that knows me knows that I smoke. You know, I smoke. It's all medicinal. When I smoke and I get to the level that I'm supposed to get to, things are much clearer for me. You know, and I'm not saying that's gonna work for everybody, but that's what happens to me. Things become much clearer, and I think about certain things on another level. It's much clearer that way. You know, it's like that. So that's the bars over there. I was searching for my purpose. I was out of reach. Now I'm back up on my feet permanently. Now I'm back up on my eminently. So that is very simple as well. It just means sometimes you just gotta do that. You just gotta disappear and find yourself. And facing yourself is not the easiest thing. So that's as straightforward as it gets. And the way I say permanently, I just found it to be very interesting to say it that way instead of saying it the normal way. Permanently, you know, it feels better. So yeah, I rocked with that. I'm back up on my shit too, you know. Imminently. So that's very straightforward. And that's also still fighting the whole imposter syndrome thing, you know. You have to pick yourself up. This is the stuff that sometimes some people cannot even help you with. You have to do the work. And then the next bars is like, you know, even when you know we are doomed as humanity, keep it on the low, read the room for your sanity. Do it for yourself, do it for your health mentally. Do it anyway, you'll see if it was meant to be. Yeah, I think with those ones, it's very clear as well, you know. It's like, even when you know we're doomed as humanity, because it's a bit pessimistic, I know, but it's just how I feel, you know. Even though we're doomed, you gotta read the room, you know, and just keep it to yourself and keep it moving, because sometimes those are the type of things that will also mess with your mind, you know, and not make you part of, you know, the simulation, you know. So you have to just keep it moving, man. But sometimes to survive this simulation, you have to just keep it to yourself. But share it with your tribe, share it with people that are like-minded, you know, and speak to them, like, and that's it, man. Otherwise, don't go out there and become the conspiracy theorist that I am. You know, it's not gonna go well for you. You gotta fight yourself every day when you wake up. You gotta fight your mind so you can actually function in the simulation. So yeah, that's what that part is about. You ain't gotta lie, baby. I know sometimes I'm out of line, baby. I ain't perfect, but lately I've been feeling kinda worth it. Maybe I deserve it. Yeah, those are very simple. That's very straightforward. It's the ending of the verse with a little bit of hope. You know, I kind of write my verses like movies a bit. I don't know how to go further on that, but there's an intro, there's a, you know, middle part of it, and I have to close the verse correctly like a movie. Sometimes it doesn't end well, sometimes it does end well, sometimes it just ends with hope. So in this situation, yeah, it's like also me with other people, you know, like you ain't gotta lie, you know. I'm not perfect. I know that sometimes I'm out of line, sometimes I go way too far, you know, because that's what makes me human, that's what makes me real. Maybe I might be worth it, maybe I might be worth all the things that I see in my mind's eye. And so yeah, man, that's it. Very straightforward verse if you think about it, with just wordplay and nice flows and stuff like that. So yeah, man, that's the lyric breakdown and meaning. I hope I did it right. It's my first time ever like doing this breakdown extensively like this. Worth it. Nyota Parker, Jody.
And this has been the lyric breakdown of our track, Worth It.
Out now. Go check it out, man. That's what it is. Yes, sir.